and welcome to Litbud. So today we will be going through The Sun Rising by John Donne. We will go through who John Donne was and how he propounded metaphysical poetry, what are the characteristics of metaphysical poetry, and also the explanation of the poem, themes, motifs and symbols that are relevant, and also we will discuss some questions by the end of it. So let's begin. I would like to clarify something before we begin. This poem is also written as The Sun Rising, Sunrising, but the original spelling of the poem is The Sun Rising. Okay, so let's get right into it. First, we will go through a brief overview of John Donne and metaphysical poetry. John Donne was a leading English poet of the metaphysical school, known for his vibrant language and inventive metaphors. So, John Donne was also a propounder of metaphysical poetry and is a very leading figure in it. Metaphysical poetry, on the other hand, is characterized by its intellectual and philosophical explorations of themes like love, religion, and existence. So let's dive deeper into what metaphysical poetry is. It is the kind of poetry which uses a lot of clever and complex ideas and arguments as well as settings. So it is very intellectual. It is also very philosophical, because it explores a lot of deep questions and explores these topics in depth. The topics of life, love and faith. And lastly, the use of conceits in the same. Conceits are extended metaphors, and they are these larger than life metaphors that link very different ideas in surprising ways, right? And I am pretty sure a lot of you must have read poetry by John Donne and realized the same thing. So let's see who John Donne was. John Donne was born in 1572 in London. He was an English poet, scholar, soldier and cleric in the Church of England. Considered a leading figure in metaphysical poetry because he is propounded as the pioneer of metaphysical poetry, and his works, they span in a range of themes including love, religion and mortality. He used a lot of complex metaphors in his poetry, and his work also inspired poets who came after him. He existed during the Jacobean or Caroline age, right? And in the literary sense, he is very significant as well, because he had a very vibrant language in his poem. He had these very different kind of metaphors, for example comparing his beloved to the sun and larger than sun, challenging universe and challenging the way the world works, right? So he is known for vibrant language, inventive metaphors and the fusion of secular and sacred themes. He also influenced future generations of poets and remains a pivotal figure in English literature. Now, for the poem, The Sun Rising. It was published in 1633 and it was published in Donne's Song and Sonnets, right? Since it was written in the early 17th century, which was a time of significant change and discovery reflecting Renaissance humanism. And it was also the time when Shakespeare, Ben Jonson and poets like those had just gone out of the scene, and now poets like John Donne were appearing. So he influenced that a lot, and a lot of the significant change is also reflected in his poetry. Cultural context of this poem is that it reflects the intellectual curiosity of the era, because again, after Shakespeare, people wanted something fresh and new. They were getting more intellectual, people wanted more intellectual poetry, more intellectual prose as well, and John Donne satisfied just that. This poem also merges personal experiences with broader existential questions that we will look at once we are at explaining the poem. So now the background of the poem. It is a part of Songs and Sonnets by Donne and was published in 1633. Showcases his witty and ingenious style. The poem has been celebrated for its bold metaphysical conceits and exploration of love. So Donne, in this poem especially, he arranged, or he wrote in such a way that love is bigger than anything in the world, that love encompasses all. The themes that we will be exploring would be love and the passage of time, assertion of personal experience over universal laws, that we will discuss later in this video. So now let's get to the explanation of the poem. Before we begin explanation, I do want to tell you a little bit about like what's going on in this poem, what's the situation, and I want to begin it right now because the poem starts very abruptly. If you would look here, the poem starts with busy old fool unruly son. Now we don't know who's busy old fool unruly, who's calling the sun that. This is a very big thing to call sun, right? Sun is impermeable, timeless. So the situation that is going on is the lover and his beloved are sleeping on a bed. This is the bed, they are sleeping here, and this is the east direction, right? So the sun is rising because sun rises every day. So rays of the sun have come through the window on their bed and have disturbed them, which makes the male lover very angry. The narrator of this poem also, he is called, and throughout the poem you would be able to notice a note of annoyance, right? So now let's get into the poem. Busy old fool unruly son. So the lover is very distraught, he is very angry, he outrightly curses the sun. Busy old fool, right? Busy because he is always working, he is always in a state of work. The sun is always busy because it rises and it sets at its particular time, it does not wait for anybody. Old because sun has existed before you or I or John Donne existed, so it is very old as well. Fool, he calls him a fool because he is invading the privacy of these lovers and he does not understand the discipline of love. Unruly son. Now you would notice a little comma here, right? There's a comma here. He says these three things in one go, in one breath, but the comma here shows the lover that he took a little break, and then he called the son unruly, undisciplined, somebody who does not know his boundaries. Unruly as in undisciplined. Son. So busy old fool, unruly son. A lot of things he has said to the sun. He has put a lot of allegations on the sun. Why dost thou thus? Why do you do this? Why do you do? Through windows and through curtains call on us. So again, if we look here, the sun, it comes through windows and curtains, right? Its rays are shining through windows and curtains. So he says, why do you permeate, why do you give us your light through windows and through curtains? Why are you calling on us so early in the morning? We were resting and your hair shining on us. Must to thy motions lovers seasons run? So this is a rhetoric. Okay, this is a rhetorical question. Must to thy motions lovers season run? So also remember, sun is somebody who is not able to speak. There is no reply from the sun. The lover is continuously putting allegations on sun that okay, you did this, you're doing this, I'm angry at you. But sun is a mute spectator, mute witness to whatever the lover is saying. Must to the emotions lovers season run? So he asks this rhetoric question, that is it important that according to you our love should be timed? Because love, according to John Donne, is something that is bigger than anything else in the world right now. So must to thy emotions lovers seasons run? Saucy pedantic wretch. Now again he calls the sun a very bad thing. Saucy pedantic wretch, right? These are all very bad words to be used for something as pious as sun. Saucy pedantic wretch, goat chide late school boys in sour pretenses. So he tells them to go and disturb those school boys who are getting late for their school, and the people who have to go to their offices, the people who have to go to work, the people who need to wake up early. Go tell court huntsmen that the king will ride. So these court huntsmen were people who had to go along with the king or prepare for the king's hunt. So he tells them, go tell court huntsmen that the king will ride, call country ants to harvest offices. So he is giving orders to sun, that do this, go disturb these boys, disturb the people who need to go to their offices, harvest offices. Country ants, these are also farmers, right? They, country ants here, they signify farmers. He asks the sun to go disturb those country ants who have to harvest offices, who have to do their regular work, regular duty. And now, love all alike, no season knows nor clime. So love is something that is much bigger than the sun or the universe. It does not know any season or any clime, nor hours, days, months, which are the rags of time. So here we can see, first of all, the lover has a very annoying tone, right? His tone is very indecent, it is annoying. The love, according to him, is supreme. We can see through this line and this line, right? He's disturbing these lovers. So love for John Donne or the narrator is too pure, much more pure than sun or celestial bodies or anything else. So love all alike, no season knows nor clime, nor hours, days, months, which are the rags of time. So it does not know any season, it does not know any climate either. Season, climate, this is not just like what's going on in the world, there's winter, summer, no, not just those seasons, but also phases. Love does not come in phases, love comes all at once, right? It is not bound by rags of time. It cannot be, it cannot, you cannot, you cannot bind love. You have to let it flow. It is something that flows. It is not bounded by the rags of time. Now, for the second stanza, by the way, this poem has 3 stanzas and each stanza has 10 lines. We are currently on the stanza second. So, thy beams, thy as in your beams. Also, another thing that I would like you to note is, he calls here the sun, why does thou, does, okay, thy motion. So, this thy, at that time when John Donne was alive, you was supposed to be more formal, and thy, thou, this was more informal. So here the poet, the narrator, is informally addressing the sun. So he is thinking of sun as an inferior to him. Thy beams so reverend and strong, why shouldst you think? Why do you think your beams are so reverend and strong? I could eclipse and cloud them with a wink. So here, this is very interesting. I could eclipse and cloud them with a wink. The lover says that, why do you think you're very strong and reverent and everything? If I wanted, I could eclipse you and cloud you with a wink. I can outshine the sun. That is what he says. This is a very big thing. Look at the complexity of love that you can see here. But he could do it. But that I would not lose her sight so long, that I would not stay away from her so long, that I cannot even look away from her for even a second, if her eyes have not blinded thine. So again he compares sun and celestial body, the universe, to his lover, his beloved and himself. If her eyes have not blinded thine, if your eyes are not still blinded by looking at her, look, and tomorrow late tell me whether both the Indias of spice and mine be where thou leftest them. He asks the sun to look into her eyes, and tomorrow late, as in the next day, tell me, tell the lover, whether both the Indias of spice and mine. So India here refers to the country India that we live in. Whether both the Indias of spice and mine, the two Indias are being talked about here, of masalas, right? England exported a lot of masalas from India, and mine. So a lot of elements as well, and metals, mining. Be where thou leftest them. Are they still there where you left them? Tomorrow look at them and see if they are still there where you left them, or if they are with me here. Me here means the lover. So he asks them, go and look. Her eyes will blind you. You will be so blinded that the India where you left them, the things that you saw the last day, you won't be able to see them the next day. because they lie here with me. So he compares his beloved to India's of spice and wine, the whole earth, in fact, that everything the sun is able to look and cover, they are here with the lover on their bed. Ask for those king whom thou sawest yesterday, and thou shalt hear all here in one bed lay. So now the whole universe is encapsulated in the bed of the lovers. It is no longer the universe that is important. It is the bed of the lovers that encompasses the whole universe. So the kings that he saw yesterday, everything that he saw yesterday, India's of spice and wine, everything, they will be there in the bed that the lovers sleep in. Now on to the third stanza. She is all states and all princes I. She is all the states that exist in the world, all the countries that exist in the world, and the person who rules them. I am that person. I am the prince that rules all these states. And other than her and I, nothing else is. Nothing else exists except for the two of us. Princes do but play us. Compared to this, all honors mimic, all wealth alchemy. Princes, or all the kings, all the royalty of the world, everybody, they just mimic us. Play us as in mimic us. And us means here the lovers. So all the princes mimic us, and compared to this, all honors mimic, all wealth alchemy. All honor. So all the respect that exists in the world, all the honor that exists in the world, it is all just mimic. It is just fun. It is mockery. It is not the real thing. And all wealth is alchemy. So everything that exists within the world, which people call wealth, so it could be gold, diamonds, silver, platinum, whatever people can call wealth, it is just alchemy. It is just chemical reactions, right? It is just things bound to each other. Because compared to us, compared to this, as in compared to us, nothing else is, as he has already said. Thou, sun, art half as happy as we are. Again, he calls the sun thou. So this is very informal. Thou, sun, art half as happy as we are. You are not even as happy as we are. We are much happier than you. We have double the happiness. In that the world is contracted thus. And within us, the world is contracted. The world does not exist without us. And we encompass the world. Thine age asks ease. Now, if you can notice here, we have come to the third stanza, and in the first stanza, he was very annoyed. The lover was very annoyed. He was also very angry. In the second stanza, he got a little calmer, and now in the third stanza, he is getting more calm. So, thine age asks ease. Your age asks for ease. Your age asks for you to rest. You're too old now, and since thy duties be to warm the world. And then he says to the sun again, he addresses the sun, your duties are to warm the world. Your duty is to shine light upon the world and warm it. That is done in warming us. So now the world is within the bed of these two lovers. To warm the world, that is done in warming us. If you are able to warm us, you will be able to warm all the world that exists. Shine here to us, and thou art everywhere. You should shine here to us. You should throw your light, your beam, your sunlight to us, and you will be everywhere, because this bed thy center is, these walls thy sphere. So this bed encompasses all that you have to shine. All your duties are encompassed within this room. This bed thy center is. You will exist here within this bed, because lovers exist here. Lovers are more great than anything else, in the words of John Donne. For John Donne, nothing else matters, only love matters. The supremacy of love is very well seen here. These walls thy sphere. So these walls would be the limit that you can shine your sunlight to, and this bed will be your center. So the world is encompassed within the two of us. That is what he says. Now let's look at the themes of this poem, the themes that are major and that you can see within this poem. First of all, love and intimacy. So love is again a very very big thing in this whole poem, and we have already seen that in the explanation part of the poem. So love and intimacy, a big theme. Power dynamics are again a big thing, because the lover sees son as inferior and himself superior. Love is more superior, and the lover uh, precedes that super power. Nature and the cosmos. Right, so these are the three themes. We will discuss them in detail now. So, love and intimacy. Analysis of the love theme. The poem emphasizes an intense and exclusive love, transforming the lover's bed into the center of the universe. So, this love is seen as a very big thing in this poem. Love encompasses everything, and outside of love, nothing exists, because the lover said in the last line, this bed thy center is, these walls thy sphere. So, love is a very intense and exclusive practice between the lovers. Two lovers, they encompass the whole world, and the impact that this theme leaves on the reader is, it invites readers to consider the transformative power of love in their own lives, and this is, I think, a very good way to employ literature within your life. That love does encompass a lot of things. Love encompasses everything that exists. Second, power dynamics. So, the speaker dismisses the sun's authority, emphasizing the omnipotence of human love. This is metaphysical poetry. Metaphysical will be beyond the physical world. It is something supernatural, right? So, the power of love in general and human love here in this context is omnipotent, present everywhere, and most powerful of all. And the speaker here, the narrator, dismisses the sun's authority. He does not see sun as a very big thing, right? Sun is encompassed within the bed. He has sun in his hands. He could blind it in a wink. That is what he claims. So, busy old fool unruly sun. This is a bold personification challenging the sun's power, and again saucy pedantic wretch, or giving the sun orders, or asking the sun to just shine here because they encompass the world. Interpretation of this is, the poem critiques societal norms that try to control or diminish personal relationships. Now, the third theme is nature and the cosmos. So, imagery of the nature, we can see imagery of sun, seasons, celestial bodies to contrast with the intimacy of lovers. Nature here is used as a contrast to show how big the love between these two lovers is. And there are some cosmic references as well. Elevates the personal to a universal level by claiming their love is more powerful than the sun. So, sun is no more something that is big and timeless. It has become, it is bound in love. Love encompasses all, and even the cosmos is taken up by love. Now we will see some motifs of this poem. Sun and light symbolizes both physical presence and intrusion of reality. This also we will read in the next slide. Microcosm versus macrocosm. The lovers' bed as the universe. So, sun's role in the poem, first of all, sun and light are motifs. Sun's role in the poem represents external reality and time. Its presence is a constant reminder of the outside world. So, within this room, there is lover, beloved, and the sun entering through the window. And this sun is the only reminder for the lovers that outside exists. And even that is challenged by the lover, that you should come inside and shine inside. So, sun has a big role in the poem. It is always there. It is present as a mute spectator. Interaction with the speaker. This speaker diminishes the sun's importance, asserting that their love is beyond its reach. So, if you remember, he said in a line that you are half as happy as we are. So, even sun, which is from what we understand in literature, sun is not a living being. Sun is personified in this poem, by the way, and sun is not a living being. Yet, sun cannot have even half the importance that the lovers have. And this is a very big thing. Microcosm versus macrocosm. Concept of microcosm. Lover's room is portrayed as a small universe, encapsulating everything that matters. So within this room is everything. All the princes and states are in here. All the Indias of spice and wine. Everything, even time does not exist here. This is a very pious state. And concept of macrocosm. Larger world is seen as less significant compared to the intimate world of the lovers. So microcosm here, right, it exists as something, as a reminder, constant reminder by the lover as well, by the narrator as well. Literary devices that are employed in this poem are metaphysical conceits. For example, the sun as a busy old fool highlights the speaker's dismissive attitude. He's very dismissive towards the sun. Imagery and symbolism are also present here. The sun represents time and reality, while the lover's room represents an eternal, unchanging world, something that cannot change even with time. And the sun, it represents again a mute spectator who's always present there, something, the only connection that the lovers have with reality. And the bed encompasses everything, because it encompasses the two lovers, and love is everything. Tone and diction, the tone shifts from playful to assertive, reflecting the speaker's control over his world. The diction blends controversial language with sophisticated metaphors. So again, a very beautiful poem. The tone and diction are very readily understood. The tone of the poem, it is initially playful and mocking towards the sun, but becomes more serious and assertive as the poem progresses from 1 to 2 and 2 to 3. Diction, use of colloquial language juxtaposed with elaborate metaphysical imagery. Words like unruly, reverent, and eclipse enhance the contrast between mundane and extraordinary. Now, the poetic structure. Meter and rhyme scheme. 3 10-line stanzas with a rhyme scheme of A, B, B, A, C, D, C, D, E, E. Iambic pentameter is used here, and it gives the poem a rhythmic and melodic quality. Form of the poem, it builds a progression of thought from initial dismissal of the sun to the ultimate assertion of lovers' supremacy. Right? So the form is again very appreciable. The comparison of this work with the other works by Donne are, first of all, we will see the similarities. It has a theme of love, right? And his other poems, they also have a theme of love, death, spiritual, in works like A Valediction, Forbidding Morning, and Death Be Not Proud. So here we can see that love is very much used. The spiritual world is very much used here, very much emphasized on here. And the differences that you can see, the sun rising is more playful and assertive compared to more meditative and reflective in the other poems. So I would say this is a very, this is more of an approachable poem by Donne. This is not something that you and I cannot understand. Other poems like A Valediction, Forbidding Morning, it is a little bit more complex to understand. This comparatively is easier to understand. Comparative analysis with contemporary poets. Similarities between John Donne and contemporary poets of that time, Jacobean era. Use of metaphysical conceits and exploration of similar themes in poets like George Herbert and Andrew Marvell. And the differences. Donne's work is often more direct and confrontational, with a unique blend of intellectual rigor and emotional intensity, which are both very high in his poems. Now, historical reception of this poem. Initial reception was Donne's contemporaries appreciated his wit and ingenuity, but some of the critics found it too complex, which is very understandable, and the age was changing. It was before Elizabethan to Jacobean. So yes, people were transitioning and they were aware of this transition. Some were okay with it and some were not. So some people found his work too complex. And criticism that he saw is that the poem has inventive metaphors and its blend of the sacred and the profane. Modern criticism. Contemporary views. Modern critics praise Donne's use of language and his ability to fuse intellectual and emotional elements. Academic analysis. It focuses on Donne's innovative use of metaphysical conceits and his exploration of relationship between body and soul. Because again, he has encompassed the entire universe within him and his lover. So this is a very big claim. Nobody before Donne could have made this claim. Influence on literature. On later works, his metaphysical style influenced poets like T.S. Eliot and W.H. Auden, and cultural impact that he saw. Recent scholarly works focuses on Donne's innovative use of metaphysical conceits again. So culturally, it was very impactful as well. So thank you so much for listening to this lecture, and I hope you are able to understand the sun rising more. I would suggest that you read a little bit more about it through your text and try to interpret it by yourself, because this is a very interesting poem that cannot be contested. This PDF is available on my Telegram group at the Lidbird, or I will write it here, and in the description it is written t.me/the LITBUD. There you will be able to find the PDF of this whole PDF of this PPT that I have just shown to you. And again, thank you very much for listening. I have come back after a long time, so I'm still trying to create as good content as possible, so you won't have to see anything anywhere else. And if anything, please comment it down there if you have any feedback for me, and also comment what do you want me to do next, what poem, what author, what age, or what literary theory or criticism do you want me to cover. I will slowly go through everything, and I hope that you have enjoyed my interpretation of the sun rising, and I hope that this has cleared a lot of your doubts. Thank you so much. Subscribe to the Lidbird, and also please leave